Hey guys, it's Chris and welcome back to another episode of Building a Game Collection. Today's a special video. Why is it special? Because I have a day one 60 gig fat casket looking PlayStation 3 in my life again. And I couldn't be happier. So, a little backstory here with this beauty, and it's got a piano finish which just loves fingerprints and all that. It loves glare and all that good stuff. But I bought one of these day one when this thing came out. I remember it was $599.99. 599 US dollars, which became a meme. And I managed to get mine for a deal. I did not pay $600 for mine. I paid $400, which was still a lot. But I mean, hey, I saved $200 on it. And I was younger and dumber and had more money with less responsibilities and all that sort of good stuff. So I sprung for it. And I loved it. And I had it for about 3.5 years. And it died on me. It died on me playing Final Fantasy 13, which really sucked because I didn't even end up liking that game. So not only did I lose my backwards compatible PS3, because at the time they weren't even making a backwards compatible anymore. They had made a 80 gig one that was not backwards compatible and did not have 4 USB ports. It had 2. And they now were making the slim model, which I just was not interested in. I wanted what I wanted, and what I wanted was another one of these. But people were starting to sell them for a lot more. They were really starting to sell them for higher prices than what you could buy a PS3 for new around the time. So that was my dilemma. I lost my PS3. It got the yellow light of death. So I lost it, and I lost it due to a game that, you know, in my opinion, really sucked. It was, for all intents and purposes, a wall or hall corridor simulator. Now, how do I know? Well, Chris, wasn't it just your system? How do you know this wasn't an isolated incident? That's a very, very good question, and I'll tell you why I know it wasn't an isolated incident. Well, around the same time, a friend of mine also lost theirs, also playing Final Fantasy 13, so that was a pretty good indicator that it was the day one 60 gig killer. And back then, I used to like be on GameFAQs a lot. I stay away from that place now, but I used to go on GameFAQs a ton back then. And there were a lot of people on the FF13 board that had said they ran into a similar situation. Playing FF13, they got the yellow light of death. And this thing was a pain in the ass to fix. Everything is on the bottom. Some guy had made a video on YouTube. It was a multi-part video showing you how to take it apart to repair the yellow light of death. And what you need to get to is in the very bottom of the system. I mean, you have to take everything out of it before you could finally get to the bottom. And I think it was like some sort of coolant or something. I can't even remember because, like I said, it's been like 7 years since I did this. Well, 8 years now. We're in 2018. But bottom line is, even when you were successful in repairing it, the repair was not permanent. It would only last for a month, 2 months, something like that, before you had to take it apart and do it all over again. So I didn't want to do that again. It lasted for about 2 months after I fixed it. Long story short, I took the system to someone to have them repair it. And the guy who I dropped my system off to have repair it just disappeared, like never to be heard from again. He wasn't returning any phone calls or anything like that. And he kind of lived a bit far from me, so I didn't want to just show up there at his house and he not be there. And the PlayStation was broken anyway, so I just kind of cut my losses on it. And I was a bit sour that my PS3 died after I paid $400 for it. So for the next 8 years, as you can see, I never found the motive or motivation either to buy another one. So even though I was kind of like half and half playing PS3 360, I just made the 360 my primary gaming device because I just was too bitter about buying another PS3. So there's the backstory there, guys. And you guys are like, oh, it sounds like such a negative experience. Why did you want another one? Because when I had this damn thing, I absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. Now, for the proof, how do you know this is a 60 gig model? Because, you know, I could just be saying it is and it not be. Well, one good indicator is this. When they started coming out with the 80 gig models that were not backwards compatible, they did not have this flap here that had a slot for memory sticks, a slot for SD cards, and here's a slot here, CP. I honestly never knew what in the world that slot was about. Forgive me if I'm a noob on that aspect, but I just never ever knew what that was about. Another good indicator, this is a backwards compatible model, is the 1, 2, 3, 4 USB ports on the front. Now let's see, does it even say anything about 60 gig underneath? It doesn't look like it does. It doesn't look like it does. It says 120 volt, 60. Yep. Nothing about being backwards compatible under there or over there. How about on the back? There's nothing about it on the back either. But isn't she a beaut? This thing is in, like, for it to be as old as it is, this thing is in amazing damn condition. Like, really, I'm quite impressed with just how good of a condition it is. And I neglected to mention, guys, this is very important. This actually did not cost me anything. This was a gift. There was a situation where I had found a backwards compatible 80 gig model that I was going to try to get. Things didn't end up working out. I was definitely disappointed, to say the least, that I couldn't get that 80 gig one that I had tracked down. But this one kind of fell into my lap as a gift, and I couldn't be happier because this is exactly the same one that I had before. Now, would I have been happy with the 80 gig one? Sure, but I kind of wanted one that was identical to what I had initially, and the one I had initially was the 60 gig one. So for better or for worse, I have the exact same model that I had before. So we're gonna now take it to the floor and test this thing. Let's turn that there. We're gonna take it to the floor and test this thing. We're gonna play a PS2 game, because I mean that's what it's all about, right? A PS2 game. Why not a PS1 game? Because all PS3s play PlayStation 1 games. I don't know if that's like a scarce fact or something like that, but whenever I tell somebody that the PS3 also plays PS1 games, every single one does, they're always really, really surprised by this. So I'm not going to test the PS1 game, even though I guess I kind of could, but it really doesn't. Sure, why not? We'll test a PS1 game too. Let's get to it. All right, we've got this thing all set up. At least I think that I do. I don't know. It's been a while since I set up a damn PS3, so I may not know what the hell I'm doing here. But quick note. Remember I was saying about ways to kind of like, you know, confirm that this is a day one 60 gig model? Well, look at the controller. It's a 6-axis. Remember, the day one controllers for the PS3 were not DualShock 3. Sony had, you know, one of the many silly mistakes that they made, or just choices that they made in general with the original PS3 models, was they didn't want to pay for Rumble. They claimed that that was old technology that was done and over with, and they were moving on, which is quite a silly thing to say. You're not the one who decides that. The consumer decides that, and we, the consumer, wanted that dang on Rumble. And a thump here. Here's a DualShock 3, a dusty one, mind you, but a DualShock 3 nonetheless, which still was a 6-axis because, you know, you had the games which you could do your little twisty and stuff with, but that is what they dubbed it after they added in the Rumble. So, we had Rumble. And the game we're going to be testing today for PS2 is going to be this Dokapon Kingdom. So, yeah, I have no idea what this is, guys. My son picked this out as the game that we would test for PS2 backwards compatibility. This is a gift that someone gave me. Wow, I want to say like 8 months ago, something like that. And I was intending on making a building a game collection video about it, but just never really got around to it. So without further ado, let's fire this boy up. The backwards compatible models, you had to do that stuff in the back. Let's see, is it on? Oh, an update. Ah. Okay, I'm gonna cut this part, guys. You don't need to see an update. Alright, now we're all updated. We've gotten that nonsense taken care of. So let's get back to the task at hand. And that's putting this PS2 game in here. And playing it. It's making noises. Not unfamiliar noises, but noises nonetheless. It recognized it as a PlayStation 2 format disc. Oh yeah, I remember doing all that kooky stuff. Hit that again. Hit that again. This is checking for a memory card, since you can do the virtual ones. And there it is. Oh, that's how you pronounce it. Dokapon Kingdom. Okay. So that's done. We're going to quit this game. And let's eject. So that's working out okay. And as I said, backwards compatible PS3s, or just all PS3s in general, they play PlayStation 1 games, but hey, what the heck? We're going to put it in there just to make sure everything's working out. And in the spirit of a Final Fantasy remake being on the way, that is going to be the PlayStation 1 game that we test out. Gotta throw that in there. Let's make some magic. Why does it say I'm signed in now? I was already signed in. I was already signed in. Oh yeah. Sounds from the 90s. Come on. Fire up. Fire up. Get through all this loading and stuff. The Squaresoft logo, yes. Signs of the 90s indeed. And there it is. It is reading. It is reading FF7. Let's do that epic intro though, man. That intro is just legendary to this damn game. We gotta do it. I wasn't gonna do it, but now I'm gonna do it. We totally gotta do it. Oh my gosh, this is what epic looks like. Bum dun, dun, dun. All right, and there you go, the start of an epic adventure. Oh man, geez, that takes me back. Wow. That just took me way back. But there you have it, guys. The backwards compatible day one 60 gig fat PlayStation 3. We have it again. See you guys next time.